On the evening of the betrayal of Jesus and then the trial and crucifixion that followed, Jesus spent that evening celebrating the Passover with his disciples. I'd like us to look at the passage in Luke chapter 22, verses 14 through 21, that give us the record of this final meal that Jesus shared with his disciples before his death. When the hour had come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. Then he said to them, "With fervent desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say to you, I will no longer eat of it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Then he took the cup and gave thanks and said, "Take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes." And he took bread, gave thanks, and broke it, and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Likewise, he also took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. But behold, the hand of my betrayer is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man goes as it has been determined. But woe to that man by whom he is betrayed." Then they began to question among themselves which of them it was who would do this thing. So here we are at the Passover, and Jesus changes forever the meaning of this event. It really is the last Passover that meant anything in terms of the connection of the people of God with the deliverance out of Egypt and the giving of the law to Moses on Mount Sinai. That's changed. Everything is changing now. As a matter of fact, Jesus talks about a new covenant. When he says this, no one's ever called the existing covenant the old covenant. But automatically, the existing covenant becomes the old covenant because Jesus says there's a new covenant that is coming. It's a covenant not in the blood of lambs that was shed to spare the firstborn son of Israel in Egypt. No, it's his blood that was shed on the cross for those who would believe in him to receive the forgiveness of their sins. That's the new covenant. It's a whole new order of things that Jesus is talking about here. Furthermore, he talks not only about the new covenant, but he talks about the kingdom of God. And he refers to the kingdom of God both in terms of eating the Passover meal and of drinking the fruit of the vine. He said, I'm going to do this again after the kingdom of God comes. So there's a sense of looking forward here to the coming of the kingdom and to this new covenant. These are the two main things that Jesus talks about in the context this evening, in the context of the Passover meal. So in a way, it's the Last Supper, because no longer will there be this Passover meal that's significant in the lives of God's people and their relationship with him. But it's like a first supper, the Lord's Supper, the first supper that indicates the kingdom and the new covenant in him. Now, having said this, the Lord makes a reference to the fact that the hand of his betrayer is with me on the table, and the disciples begin to talk about who that was. It's impossible to know to what extent that the disciples or the apostles understood what Jesus was saying in terms of a new covenant or eating and drinking in the new kingdom. But it is certain that they understood that something was changing. There was a new order of things that Jesus was talking about, and they not only wanted to know who it was that would betray him, but also who it was that would be greatest in this new order of things that Jesus obviously is referring to.